Welcome to my Pickle Trick Masterclass. This will be the last weight loss masterclass you ever have to attend because we are going to unpack the common myths behind weight loss, including toxic diet culture, most common mistakes that people make when trying to lose weight, and how I've cracked the code to staying consistent and was able to lose over 30 pounds in just under 4 months using this one sneaky cheat code. Here's a hint, it does have to do with my pickle trick. So stay tuned because I will also be offering up a freebie at the end to anyone who watches it in its entirety. So what are we going to learn today? Here's a quick outline of the agenda for this masterclass today. I will try not to keep you too much longer than 25-30 minutes, but we do have a lot to unpack here, so jumping right into it. First, we'll go over who I am and why the heck you should trust anything I have to say. We'll go over the specifics of my consistency cheat code, including the pickle trick, the ins and outs of how that works. Then we'll dive into some sustainable diet techniques and uncover popular diet myths and what you really should be focusing on instead. We'll also cover exercise and really unpack what you should be doing and what you really don't have to be doing. And then finally, we'll learn about how to maintain this weight loss forever because ain't nobody got time to be on a diet or a weight loss journey for the rest of their lives, which probably unfortunately most of you can relate to. So stay tuned, we got a lot to go over. So who am I? I will introduce myself. I'm Coach Chelsea. My full name is Chelsea Snook, although do not call me Snooky. Kidding, kind of. I'm a single mom to a beautiful 10-year-old little girl named Mia. You can see her pictured there. She's a little sass pot. I went to college at Mansfield University for nutrition and dietetics. My original dream was to be a dietitian in a hospital, helping people with enteral nutrition and diet plans, but God had other plans for me, and now I am a health coach and a business owner who helps hundreds of women lose weight, which has turned out to just honestly be the best thing that's ever happened to me. But let me just tell you more about what I actually do and what I don't do. So, I'm a fitness lifestyle coach and have been for almost 10 years now. I can't even believe that I'm saying that. It seems crazy. I specialize in sustainable and realistic weight loss tactics for women. So, sorry guys, no bros allowed. And I also specialize in helping women learn how to stay consistent because this is not an easy task and it's honestly the key to long lasting weight loss. So, what I'm going to show you is that it also ties in with my pickle trick. So, stay tuned. We are getting to the full breakdown of that in the next few minutes. But what I won't do and what I'm not is I am not part of an MLM. I won't try to sell you anything, any shakes or pills or some kind of magical supplement that will promise to shed all your fat off in a week. I am actually going to show you by teaching you the overall breakdown of how this process works and what you can do to get that scale moving ASAP. So, not to be dramatic or anything, but if you give me the next 30 minutes of your time, I will change your life. Plus, you'll want to stay till the end because I am offering up a free full week meal plan with a grocery list to everyone who stays till the end and drops their email in the chat. So be on the lookout for that. Also, like any good presentation, most of the best stuff and most informational stuff is going to be closer to the end. Plus, it all kind of ties together, so you definitely have to hear the full masterclass to be able to understand and put this to use. So you can ultimately start implementing this and get yourself back on track with your weight loss goals ASAP. All right, so let's just dive right in. So, in order for any of this to make sense, you must first understand why traditional diets tend to fail. And here's why. Number one, they are way too restrictive. So, you find yourself following the diet plan for a few days or maybe even a few weeks, but because you're not eating the foods you want to be eating, or because you're cutting out entire food groups like carbs or sugar, which is also a carb, but people say it all the time. So, doing things like this just set you up for failure. Also, the fear of missing out. So you don't want to have to follow a strict diet for the rest of your life, do you? Right, of course not. And you shouldn't have to. So because you feel that the diet is not really an ideal lifestyle, you just kind of end up giving up. Usually when a birthday party happens or some kind of event that you don't want to miss out on the fun, you ultimately give up on it altogether. And then finally, your diet's been failing because you don't have clear direction or a clear path on what you should even be doing and how you're going to get there. And that's one of the things that in my mentorship, we really double down on. And it's the reason why my clients actually do get great results because they have a plan, they have direction, which is super important in a weight loss journey. All right, so first things first, I just want to be extremely clear here because I've heard women say calorie deficit doesn't work for me, blah, blah, blah. And I promise you, it's literally science and biology that if you are in fact in a calorie deficit for a long enough period of time, you will lose weight. Now, there are other factors involved, of course, which we'll talk about today, but the main focus you need to stay laser centered on is staying in your calorie deficit. So, problem number one that I see most common with people trying to lose weight is that they have too many rules and not enough solutions. The reason your diet and past weight loss attempts haven't worked is because you're imposing too many rules. And what I mean by this is you're telling yourself that you can't have this or you can't do that since you're trying to lose weight, but you aren't actually solving any of the problems, which are causing you to ultimately fail in all of your weight loss attempts. So, what you need to do in order to find a sustainable weight loss plan is you need to find a way to make your weight loss goals cater to your current lifestyle, not the other way around. Because you need this to be a lifestyle change, something you can maintain forever. And I don't know about you, but I certainly can't stop eating chocolate and pasta and cheese for the rest of my life. I refuse to do it. So instead, you find a way to stay within your calorie deficit while still eating those foods that you love. Okay, so Chelsea, then what is the solution? If we can eat whatever we want, how do we know we're eating enough to stay within our calorie goals? So this is the easiest and most simple way I can break this down for you. It's like this. One, knowing how many calories you need. Two, tracking what you actually are consuming. And three, doing this consistently without starting over every single weekend. Okay, so not to scare you too much, but just to show you some statistics on the pandemic of diet culture, specifically in the US and specifically for women. The average woman spends 17 years of her life dieting. And research suggests that most women start dieting in their teens and spend more than a third of their lives trying to lose weight. So that's crazy. 75% of American women have disordered eating behaviors. And that's a study that found 3 out of 4 women struggle with unhealthy eating habits, such as skipping meals, cutting out entire food groups, or excessive restriction. And number 3, this one actually probably scares me the most. Women who yo-yo diet are 66% more likely to die from heart disease because constantly losing and regaining weight, also known as weight cycling, it increases your heart disease risk, even if you are at a normal weight and you're not overweight. So what yo-yo dieting is, if you don't know, is that when you're losing weight and gaining it back, losing weight, gaining it back. And probably 90% of you watching this can relate to that in some way. So definitely a scary thing. And that one hits me really hard. And if this doesn't scare you into wanting to make a lifestyle change, I really don't know what will. Okay, so moving on to problem number 2 with weight loss. You have no plan. Without a clear and a concise plan, you're never going to get anywhere. I mean, just think about it like a recipe. If someone told you to make a batch of cream puffs today, would you just randomly grab ingredients and throw them into a bowl and see what happens? No. You would find a recipe, one from a trusted website or a person you know who had made them before, and you'd follow the directions. So that way you too could get the same results as the person who baked them in the first place, right? And following some social media influencer on Instagram is also not the best way to get weight loss advice. So most of these people are not nutrition professionals. They have no certifications or have any business giving health advice. So just be a little cautious about that because there are a lot of conflicting views in the diet industry today. You definitely don't want to get caught up in the noise, okay? And just to clarify, I'm not a social media influencer in any way, shape, or form. I'm a health professional who just uses social media as a platform to display my knowledge and results. Big difference. And finally, eating clean or whatever that is to you is not a weight loss strategy. And to put it very simply, because eating clean does not exist, there are no dirty foods unless your toddler dropped it on the floor and your dog licked it and it's growing hair now. and then maybe it's dirty. So you get the idea of clean eating out of your brain. All of this results in you starting over and essentially trying a new strategy every single week. And that's just exhausting, and nobody has time for that. All right, just a quick timeout because I don't want this to feel like I'm belittling you or blaming you in any way for struggling with this. It is not your fault. It's diet culture's fault. And you're just simply one of its victims. So, unless you are a health coach or in the profession like myself, there is no way you could possibly know all these nuances. So, just to show you that you're not alone, this is my client Wanda. She too struggled with these same issues. She lost over 50 pounds since working with us and has been continuing to see progress and learn more and more about herself every single day. So before we started working together, she was starving herself basically, cut out a lot of carbs, just like we talked about earlier, but then she would find herself binge eating at night. She was running outside for miles with a stroller because her baby was very young at that time, and she was a single mom, and she thought she had to run or she wasn't going to lose weight. So that was a big problem in more ways than one. Now, fast forward to today. After working with us, she's eating more than 1900 calories a day while still reaching her goals. She only works out 2 to 3 days per week, gets her steps in, and she enjoys tacos and wine with her sisters because that was one thing that she was cutting out before without feeling guilty or having to start over every single weekend. So, yay, Wanda. And this is another one of my awesome clients. This is Jenny. She is down over 30 pounds and counting. She was an athlete in school. She used to be very active, but gained weight after entering the workforce, like a lot of people can relate to. So before working with me, she felt confused by conflicting diet advice. She was kind of uncomfortable working out and in the gym and really had no clear direction on where to start. So therefore, she just never started. So now, after about 3.5 months of working with us, Jenny is eating the foods she loves, has a clear set path, and is therefore very consistent in the gym, feels confident in her progress, which is why she's able to stick with it, and never really feels hungry at the end of the day at all. So this is Jenny's chart. You can see here she has had a very steady decline in her weight loss. This is actually a unique case. Most weight loss is not linear like this. Usually you gain a little bit, lose a little bit, gain a little bit, lose a little bit more, and that's how you kind of slowly make your way down. She has just been very consistently moving down. So this is a phenomenal example of how lifestyle change works so much better than a diet. So this brings us to problem number 3. And this is that you're following a plan that you likely don't enjoy, which it means you're only eating the foods you think you should be eating to lose weight, not the foods you want to be eating. And that's a huge issue because when you think about lifestyle change, you want to be following something that you are actually enjoying, something that's going to fit into your lifestyle where you're not feeling miserable. It's going back to that FOMO, that fear of missing out. So make sure that you're following a plan, you're eating food you love, and doing something that you can actually maintain and sustain forever. Okay, Chelsea, so that sounds easier said than done. How do I know that I'm following a lifestyle change and a diet plan that's actually working that I enjoy? So here's the solution. Instead, you need to be educated. When you learn how to incorporate your favorite foods into your diet without feeling guilty and without it compromising your results, that's when you start to see some actual sustainable change. It's like, and I'm sorry, I love metaphors, but it's like a mechanic fixing your squeaky brakes. He fixes it for you, but doesn't show you or teach you how to, because of course he wants to keep fixing it for you and getting paid. But ultimately, what happens when your brakes start squeaking again? Are you able to fix it yourself and get them back on track into working order? Or do you have to call the mechanic back again to get them fixed? Now, obviously, you're not a mechanic and you should be taking your car to the mechanic. I did not mean that. But the result to showing you is that just as the mechanic is continually fixing your car, when you follow these strict diet plans and these rigid programs, they don't teach you anything, so you have to keep going back to them. And that's not what we want. So you lose quickly via some kind of rigid program like keto, Weight Watchers, etc. You haven't learned how to actually keep it off and make it a lifestyle. So that's why you continually have to keep paying Oprah and put yourself through that dangerous weight loss gain cycle that we talked about over and over again. We do not want that for you. So by now, you've already got a pretty good understanding as to why traditional diets don't work. So let me tell you about what does work instead, and finally reveal to you the proprietary method that I use to help my clients see long-term weight loss success. Okay, so moving on to exercise, I'm just going to go over some of the most common questions I get with exercise, one of which being, how long should you exercise? Now, I just kind of want to preface this by saying, as you probably already know, weight loss is 90% dictated by your diet. So most of the exercise we incorporate into your program has other purposes, which we'll get to a little bit later. But ultimately, the length of those workouts is really not that important. As long as you're doing something and you're doing it consistently, going back to that consistency thing, consistency is always going to be most important, is going to trump everything else, then that's what's most important. So if an hour-long workout is just not achievable for you, like most busy moms, people who have lives, that's perfectly fine. You don't need to schedule hour-long workouts. It's just setting you up for failure because we don't want that. So of course, another major factor will be that what your unique goals are though. So of course, if muscle building and toning is your main goal, the length of time you need to work out will differ than if your goal is to train for a half marathon or achieve a specific time in a 5K. So the second most common question that I get around exercise is, how many days per week should you exercise? So again, this will largely depend on your goals. What I usually recommend is, if your goal is weight loss and you haven't been consistently working out at all prior to now, start with a daily step goal. And don't be fooled, the 10K steps per day is great, but it is not a magic number. Okay. So if that's not realistic for you, shoot for 6 to 8K steps per day or shoot for something smaller in the beginning. And then also just simply move your body. If it's time you're worried about, and just remember, your body doesn't know the difference between a scheduled, planned workout in the gym or just regular movement, like pacing around the house or doing squats while you're doing dishes or laundry. Just do something. This will help to keep your metabolism going and add into your daily energy expenditure, which just basically means how many calories you're burning per day. So, just as an overall reminder, the goal of exercise in relation to weight loss is not so much to burn off all the calories you eat, because I mean, that would be impossible. Just look at the average amount of calories each of these things burns, but instead it's to aid in your body's overall health and to keep you feeling good and motivated to continue with the plan. Now, of course, as your goals shift, and they will, you'll start to see more targeted workouts and really build up your strength to increase your muscle mass or whatever it is that your goals are. But at the beginning, when you're just starting, you're new to all this, and you still have a lot of fat to lose, this is kind of what you can expect. So the exercise is more so just for your health, just to keep you motivated and to just overall, keep you on track with your diet. All right, so now you have an even better vision and view as to why what you've been doing in the past has not been working. So let me just show you what I do instead, which I've named my consistency cheat code method, because that's exactly what we will do. We will learn the cheat sheet to staying consistent, which is the game changer. Consistency always wins. Okay, so there are really three main components to the structure of how I coach my clients, and here's why it works. And just a side note, this isn't to say you can't use these techniques to help lose weight on your own, but just jumping to what is working and has worked for many, many years for the people who do choose to take the shortcut and seek professional help. This is the cheat code essentially. And the three components are mindset shift, program adherence, and relatability. Weight loss is hard, regardless of how you go about it. Having a coach or someone to help you guide you along the way will make it much easier, but it is still very hard. So, in order for this to be a long term success story for you, we have to first figure out the why behind it all. I am essentially your therapist for like the first 1 to 2 weeks, and it's really just asking the right questions and then having that real time tailored approach to make necessary changes as they come up. So, what works for one person isn't going to work for another. And that's important to know because honestly, these cookie cutter weight loss programs or lose weight fast schemes you see online are just not feasible because they can't possibly work for everyone unless there is some sort of a personalized aspect to it. All right, so the second component to the cheat code of this whole process is making program adherence inevitable. Since we all know sticking to the plan for long enough to see results is ultimately the key to long-term weight loss success, I found a way to make this part of it all super easy for you. And without getting into the weeds too much, basically how we do that is through daily accountability and regular program shifts. What I mean by this is we don't just set you up with a plan and then just cross our fingers and hope for the best. No. Instead, we do what we call a calibration phase, where it's basically testing the waters and then transitioning and shifting things as you go along. And then as we learn more about your current challenges and the situations that you often find yourself in and having the most trouble with, this is a very unique approach. And I don't think enough coaches and nutritionists do this. And that's why I call it my cheat code, because basically what I do, I 100% believe that this is the main reason why I'm able to see essentially every single one of my clients get results. Okay, so now I know you've all been wondering when this pickle trick was going to make an appearance. So very exciting time. I do want to preface this by saying this is in no way or by no means a gimmick that is meant to be viewed as a schemy, lose weight fast tactic or anything at all. Instead, it's just a funny little method that I used when I was losing weight, and it really helped me stay consistent, especially at night when I would get that dreaded urge to binge eat. Okay, so I do have the link to the PDF in my school community, which I will post that link in for you to join. If you aren't already a member, you can join below, as well as a really short video walkthrough on how to use it. But let's break it down here briefly as well. So I found myself struggling the most when I was trying to lose weight was at night. I'd be in my calorie deficit all day, doing just fine, but then night would come and I would just be incredibly hungry and would sometimes just binge eat because I just almost wanted to give up. And I wanted to eat everything in sight, to be honest. So I used this little tactic of eating a pickle and then waiting a few minutes, drinking some water, eating a few more pickles, and then after doing that and giving myself at least 15 to 30 minutes to digest everything, then I would reassess whether or not I was still feeling excruciatingly hungry or if I could wait until morning. 9 times out of 10, this worked for me, and it really helped push me over the edge in reaching those final 10 to 15 pounds of weight loss because, as most of you probably know, the last 10 to 15 pounds are always the hardest to lose. And there is some science behind it as well. Okay, it's not all crazy because pickles are highly acidic. It makes them helpful in the satiety factor, so it helps you kind of feel full a little bit longer. And they're also full of water and sodium, which are both key factors in curbing hunger cues. So ultimately, the pickles were like my kryptonite, and that's what did it for me. Whether or not this trick will work for you, or if you even like pickles, who's to say? But this is just one of the many unique methods and tactics that I use with my clients as well to help them find their own unique pickle trick to unlock that door to consistency. And then finally, so kind of jumping back into the last reason as to why my consistency cheat code works, and one of the aspects to it is simply being relatable. Never in a million years would I have thought the weight loss struggle that I had to go through both during and after having my daughter would be the thing that ultimately prepared me for what I'm able to achieve today. And as a Jesus loving Christian woman, I firmly believe that God used me in that moment to mold me into what it is I'm meant to do and who I'm called to help. So sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now, but I'm just really grateful for everything that Jesus and God has done for me so far. But that's just something I'm really passionate about and wanted to share that with you. So the fact that weight loss is so much more than just diet and exercise is the reason why having someone who also went through that mental struggle is really the driving factor of success. Too many coaches, particularly ex-bodybuilders and women boasting six packs now, they just don't get it. I mean, if you're trying to train for the Arnold Classic, then yes, hire someone with that expertise. But if you're a regular human being just struggling to lose weight and get yourself back into a healthy state, you shouldn't be following a program designed for six packs. What you need is a realistic approach from a realistic coach with a mindset of weight loss looks different on everyone, and counting macros and tracking food for the rest of your life isn't a life, okay? While tracking is important, don't get me wrong, very important during your weight loss phase and briefly during your transition to the maintenance phase, it is not something that you want to have to do forever. And a lot of these coaches are teaching this because at the end of the day, if your goal is bodybuilding competitions and having six packs, it is very well may be necessary. But most of us don't want or need that. What we need is someone who understands us and can relate on a deeper level, enough to kind of help us keep going strong even on those hard days. And there will be a lot of hard days. And then also, real time feedback is super key. Most people give up on a weight loss program or a diet plan because they aren't able to see results quick enough. The way we circumvent that challenge is by watching you very closely for the first 3 to 6 weeks and adjusting things as they come up, not a week or a month after the fact. I've had clients literally message me with a challenge. For example, my client Leah was struggling with motivation to get her workouts in and mentioned that the reason behind her not wanting to do them was simply because she'd look at the workout ahead of time and see the estimated length of time to complete it as being, 30 to 40 minutes. And then she'd feel demotivated because that seemed like a lot of time to her. And she was already struggling to keep up with work and her two kids. So that very same day, I said, hey, this is a simple fix. No reason to stress over a 40-minute workout. Let's just do this. I'll shorten the strength training workouts to just 4 moves, 3 circuits, under 15 minutes to complete. And then let's shoot for a step goal the other days instead. And just simply reducing her scheduled workout days and making them shorter in length, she was able to get back into her consistent routine and didn't fall off track at all. She still reached her biweekly weight loss goal of 4 pounds and was much happier and less stressed about it all. All right, so guys, we're almost there. This is the last section, almost to your free meal plan. Hang with me a little bit longer. We are now going to jump forward into how we can achieve these results lifelong. So that way, you're not losing it and gaining it back. You are going to lose it forever. The only way to achieve lifelong weight loss is with lifestyle change. And that's why the women who go through the proper channels of weight loss are much more likely to lose the weight and actually keep it off, as opposed to those who do these quick fix diets or take the weight loss shots, etc. And don't come for me, I am not hating on the weight loss shots at all, it's just a fact. So because as we mentioned earlier in the presentation, if you aren't learning the hows and the whys of what you're doing, then you won't be capable of maintaining it because you won't really fully know how to implement it into your everyday life. And just to quickly highlight some of our most recent successes, this client here on the left, she started a little over 171 pounds and within 3 months was able to lose close to 14 pounds. And this was all just with lifestyle change. She works out 3 days a week and gets 6K steps in most every day. And then Jane here on the right, she's a rock star who has been with me for almost 6 months now. I can't believe it. And she saw some terrific success getting her weight under 200 pounds finally after trying everything else under the sun to do so. And she's able to stick to her regular workout routine, which has been able to help her phenomenally. And this is Gabby. She is down about 9 pounds. I wanted to show you her because she may not look like the type of person who you would think of when you think of someone who needs to lose weight, but she is a single mom who has always felt confident in her body until she just didn't anymore. In the picture on the left, she felt bloated, she had no time for exercise, and she just felt out of control with everything related to her health. So fast forward 2 months later, you can visibly see she looks more toned, she lost 9 pounds, and she finally fits into her favorite jean shorts, which as you can see in the photo on the right, she's wearing them and looking absolutely stunning. And this is another one of my clients. We'll just call her Sally. She chooses to be anonymous. She lost about 10 pounds total in just under 3 months of working with me. And not only did she lose fat, but she's noticed a tremendous change in her belly fat and bloating specifically. So when she first came to me, she was really struggling to get her belly bloat under control. She felt tired and sluggish most of the time and was just really frustrated. She tried a bunch of different diets and methods, but ultimately she just couldn't stay consistent with anything long enough. So what we did was we created a plan for her diet, one that was easy to follow, didn't require a lot of prep because, as she is a busy working lady, she works almost 60 hours a week. And after getting that in place, we transitioned to a workout plan that utilized her apartment gym where she was able to just go, between her shifts or at lunch for just a 20-minute quick strength training session. And now she's seeing great results just by adding those workouts in. And just a few more to quickly highlight. We got Nicole here. She's amazing. She said, she's been really doing well. She can't believe how easy it is to follow these diet plans because they're not really diet plans. They're just realistic foods and things she loves to eat. She also is a mom to two littles. And after joining my program, she lost a total of 7 pounds so far. And she really just joined about 6 weeks ago. And she told me she just cannot believe, again, how easy this is to follow. And then here on the right, we have Monica. Monica's been very happy with her results, mostly because her cholesterol has been a huge concern of hers. And she wanted a diet plan and a workout program that would allow her flexibility while also seeing those same results, which she ultimately was able to accomplish. Awesome. So we're almost there. Just give me like 3 more minutes just to kind of wrap up everything and talk about our next steps. Fad diets fail because they aren't sustainable. You want to aim to lose about 1 to 2 pounds per week, no more than that. And you do not have to spend a lot of time working out in order to see great results, but rather find a routine that works for you and you're able to consistently maintain. And you should never, ever, ever, if you don't take out anything away from this masterclass, take away this. Never, ever cut out entire food groups. It's not sustainable and it's not healthy. So again, staying consistent and having guidance and support is ultimately more important than having the perfect diet plan or workout program. And you are 95% more likely to stick to a sustainable weight loss plan if you have some type of direction and support. All right, so you almost made it. If you found this information valuable but feel like you're kind of stuck in your weight loss journey right now, take this opportunity to book a free one-on-one strategy call with me or someone from my team. The link is posted below, but just a heads up, these time slots they do fill up quickly, and we are currently only able to take in a few clients per month. As I do pride myself on the amount of attention and detail I am able to give each and every one of my clients. So that does kind of limit the amount of new members we can take on. But if I feel we're a good fit and this is exactly what you need to finally be free from that weight loss regain cycle, we will definitely discuss that option and see if there's an opening available for you. And if not, we will just leave you with some valuable tips and help point you in the right direction. So either way, definitely book a call. Congratulations! You just graduated your last ever weight loss masterclass and hopefully unlocked your cheat code for lifelong weight loss in a way that isn't going to totally suck. And as promised, since you stuck around to the end, here is how to grab that free 7-day meal plan. And if you're not already in my free school community, definitely be sure to sign up for that. We post a lot of really useful information. There's new modules in there, trainings just like this one, and it's free. So, and tons of other women in there to encourage you as well. Definitely join that, if not anything else. And I'll drop the link to join below. So, as promised, here's how you get your free meal plan. Follow me on Instagram if you're not already, and I'm at the Balancing Bean. Don't worry, you'll find me. I got the Pickle Trick on there. And message me either on school if you are in my school community or on Instagram with the code cheat code unlocked. That way I know you made it to this slide and we'll send you your freebie. And I'll send that right over to you, right to your email. And then as a bonus, also message me like one thing you learned and plan to implement from this training. And then I'll send you a secret bonus gift as well. So definitely do that. And I just want to mention this meal plan that I'm sending you is actually one that is part of my group coaching school community. So if you find this helpful and would like to continue receiving these on a weekly basis and also some program for the workouts as well, consider joining my Pickles to Progress community, which is a group coaching community. And it's really super carefree, super easy to join, and it's just month to month. And just to give you a quick overview of what this group community entails, it is weekly meal plans with grocery lists to take all the guesswork out for you. You'll get rotating monthly workout programs with both a gym and home body weight only option. We'll also be in the near future doing once per week live group coaching calls to answer any questions you have directly. You also have daily support within the community, so you'll be able to leave me direct messages, ask me any questions you may need clarification on. And again, this is brand new. So it is still in the beta testing phase, meaning I am offering it for much less now than I will in the future. But if you join now, you can lock in that price forever, which is just $67 a month, no contract at all. You can kind of hop out at any time if you feel you don't need me anymore. You can also find the link to that below where you can directly join, but if you are interested, I would recommend in doing so now because I will only be offering this price to probably around the first 50 women or so who join. So if you need some help getting back on track, either book a call with me and we can discuss my program in more detail, or go ahead and hop into this community and get started ASAP. And of course, if you have any questions about what we covered today at all, feel free to either book that free strategy call to get a more clear answer and vision of how to move forward in your weight loss journey. Or if you're in the school community, you can also feel free to drop those questions in the comment section. And I have pinned that to the bottom of the training. If you're not in my school community, why aren't you? Seriously, it's free. Go ahead and join that now. I'm going to have a link to that as well, and let's get you to those goals, girls. Thanks for sticking around. It's been a lot of fun. Looking forward to working with you soon.